Okay, so for anthropology today, I'm going to be talking about the role of punctuation in texting. Two of the main course concepts I'm going to go over are going to be inscripts and frames. And so inscripts are the technologically mediated inscriptions which are generated in and by conversation. These can include mostly our signifying material. And so in this case, it's going to be punctuation for the examples I show you. And the next frames, which are structure of expectations for the production and reception of discourse. And this is going to be the attitude around the conversation and how it can differ around the audience that you have, or maybe the place that you're at. Okay, so for the first example, I'm going to be talking about the punctuation. And so when I asked my roommates how the first text sounded, with the period, they said that it had sort of a passive-aggressive tone. And so I said, well, what if you remove the period? And they said, it doesn't sound like you have any sort of, harsh tone or passive-aggressive feeling at all if you just don't have a period. And so in this case, the signifier is going to be our punctuation. And so in this text, the signifier is the period, and the signified is going to be the tone. And so the signified is going to be a passive-aggressive tone with this use of the period. And then for the second one, we have awesome with 2 exclamation points. And so the use of the punctuation in this example sort of elevates the feeling that this person has, sort of like it shows that they have excitement, maybe they're interested, they're engaged in the conversation. And the signifier is going to be our exclamation points, and the signified is going to be an engaged or, happy tone. And so even if you were to put this text with awesome in it side by side with one that had 1 exclamation point versus one with 2 exclamation points, when I asked my roommates, they still said that the one with the 2 exclamation points has a happier feel to it. You can tell the person is more engaged. And so in the case where you have a difference between punctuation, the one that has more punctuation involved is always going to be the one that's more expressive. Next, I'll talk about how we can use line breaks to signify like punctuation. And so when the person that's texting uses line breaks, it can signify their dominance and that they're controlling the conversation, but also by not including periods or commas, it can show that they still have more to say. But in this case, by not using our punctuation, the end of the sentences is sort of applied in this case. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about frames. And so in this case, these 2 texts are going to be our personal frames or maybe our friend frames, because they, as you notice, they don't have proper grammar, proper capitalization, proper punctuation, and they use emojis. And so this is going to be the sort of attitude or the sort of energy you take on when you're texting somebody that you're gonna probably be more expressive. You can use like emojis that you obviously can't say an emoji out loud or like show an emoji out loud, so you can use these to express how you feel. But it's going to be different than if you were to text your boss, and so we could call that the boss frame. You would use proper capitalization, punctuation, you wouldn't use emojis. And so I think the interesting thing with frames is that there's so many different frames and contexts that you can use them in, and it's really interesting to look at them in the context of text and how people can have different audiences and different attitudes between who they're texting, and how you can analyze that by the use of punctuation and emojis and sort of grammar that they use. But thank you.